Well, my name is Sylvia Campos, and I work for the greater good, and the organization called For the Greater Good. So I love that name, and I love what it represents. And I would say that I got involved with them, I think like 2017, and I think maybe they had been around for maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a year or two. But what drew me to the organization or to the group of people, I don't even know that's what they were called. I mean, I don't think they even, I don't know, they even had a name. But it was, of course, the water issues, the water boils. I would see them making comments and raising awareness. That was the main thing. I was like, who are these people, you know? And that's how I became more aware. You know, it's just like back then, I think we just accepted things as they were, like, oh, well, you know, the water's bad, we're gonna have to boil it. Because I think by then it was 3 water boils that we were in. So it just became like just part of it. But they were the ones that really opened up my eyes to say, no, this is not normal, this is not acceptable. And I think, you know, that was my main, you know, drawing, you know, for the greater good. And then I think I heard like they were meeting at a library, which is at the Delmar Library, and I ended up going, and I never stopped going. So that was my introduction to the organization. So, yeah. Well, I think the biggest challenge is that we are seen as agitators, and maybe we are, but what the label, I think I heard Melissa say was, they called us outside agitators. She says, no, we're not outside agitators, we're inside agitators. And I thought, yes, that's what we have to be, and that is what we are now, because we're not accepting things as a status quo. So I think all of us need to figure out what our gifts are, and not that I'm saying that I have a gift. I mean, because really I'm an ordinary citizen. I'm you know, I'm a grandma, and but all of us have, you know, something that we can add to this movement, and the movement is movement of the people. I think we forget how much power we actually have. I think, you know, there's just so much negativity that we see and that we're exposed to, and that we ourselves just are always talking ourselves down. And so it's just wonderful to be able to see that kind of courage, you know, because it does take courage. You know, you're thinking you're the only one that thinks like that, you know, and when you just decide that you're just going to do it because it's a right thing to do, it's amazing how powerful that is. Yeah. I think, you know, we've been labeled as like anti everything, and, you know, anti-growth, anti-this, anti-that. But I think I'm really proud and really humbled by the things that we are doing on a positive side, which is like, believe it or not, as simple as it seems, is the park. We adopted Carol Lane Park, I guess like 2017, 2018, and it's just blossomed, just like I think what you put into the project, right? You know, we've been doing it for at least 7 years, and if you go now and go and visit the park, you can see, or you can even feel, you know, the connection, the birds, you know, the fruit trees, you know, and it started with, you know, with 2 people. Started with Melissa and with Dorothy Pena, having this vision of, you know, what it was to actually connect people and help people, because we call it a community forest, because that's what it is. It's mostly fruit trees, and it's meant for people to share with one another, the birds, the humans, whatever. And So, we've been able to really get that park just, we've got now, playground, new playground. We've got like a water fountain. We have benches. I mean, even trash cans was like, the city didn't have enough money. That's crazy. But you know what? The RTA ended up stepping in and doing it. Anyway, I think that, for me, that's probably, one of the crown jewels. But the other is, I guess, just a turning of the attitude of, what is possible. I think, they want to, sometimes they want to make things as maybe Democrat or Republican, but really it's people's issues. It's just the simple thing of us just wanting to have clean air, a place to live where we can afford, and to have, safety, that, and be prosperous. But as far as going back to what other, maybe things that we have accomplished, I think I was just looking back at just some of our fun things. We're now participating in the Buck Parade. It's been fun, and I don't know. It's just I love the art part. I think that's what is the soul of any movement, is the arts. And if we can continue to incorporate the arts into our message, better for us. But, we just been plugging away, on a regular basis. And little by little, I think, our message is starting to seep in. And we've been able to attract just different people from different types of backgrounds. And I think that's what makes, life go around, is that, we all don't have to stay in the same area, the same block. We can bring other, different points of opinions, and we won't know how much we have in common until we talk to one another. And I think this, for the greater good, has been able to do that, is bridge those. So I think slowly and surely, we're making an impact. Just recently, last Tuesday, we were able to pass this resolution that took away power from our city manager. The desalination is one of the biggest projects that so far our city has been exposed to. And for the city council to not have oversight is unheard of. So since the citizens didn't have a say in voting for the biggest project, at least there should be some oversight by the city council. And it should not just be, just a blank check on what the city manager decides to do. So that was a huge win for us this Tuesday. So happy to report that, that things are starting to turn around. I think the lesson, again, is, I think, going outside your comfort zone, as hard as it might be. You won't know, what can happen unless you try. You have to try. With me being on city council and not giving up, and having little recognition, having no pedigree, having no money, but just staying true to why one was running, and why I think that's the important thing about anything, is your why. You have to have a strong reason why you do what you do. And so I think if you stay, faithful, and you concentrate on why you're doing the things you're doing, things will fall into place. So I think the main thing is just, even if you're scared, even if you've never done it, I think it's important for us to flex those muscles and just go outside our comfort zone. I may not have like a lot in common with some of my counterparts on city council, but I think just my presence and knowing where I stand, and they know I don't have to say anything. They know where I'm coming from. So I think it's a blessing. I think it's important for us to be true to ourselves, and we don't have to be. They don't even come to me and ask me, do I want to be part of something that I would never, agree to. It's just like, I'm not going to do it. I mean, like my mother has always said, tell me, dime con quién andas y te digo quién es. Tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. I come back to that all the time because it's important, like who you hang out with, who your friends are. Like that's what I, entrust is that, we have the same kind of values. So again, I think it's just being true to yourself. First go within, like anything. I mean, we always think the answer is out there. It's not. It's right here. You have to sort of like get yourself quiet and ask that question to yourself. And the answers do come. They may not be what you want to hear, but the answers do come. Like, a really terrible thing that happened to me earlier this year, a very embarrassing thing and a very personal thing that happened to me. I think a lot of, I was asking, what do I do now? Because it was devastating. But then when the story broke out and, you really thought you would think that's the end of something when it's something so humiliating and embarrassing and you can't go on. Humanity showed up, and that restored my faith. It really was humbling, and it was just beautiful to see. At the moment, you don't think it is. At the moment, I was going through a lot. My brother was in his last days, and Channel 6 and the Caller Times was calling me, and I didn't want this story to break. I thought it was going to break me, but honestly, I think it just humanized me, and that's all we are. We're humans, and things go on, and we have to get up and do our best and go forward. So anyway, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Well, my vision would be that to know how special this place is, honestly. I mean, like when I go like to McGee Beach and I take my grandkids and we're in the water and we're floating and we're just looking and we go, God, can you believe we live here? Like, I don't know if people realize that. Like, you can go to the beach, like it's just right there. They call it the Third Coast, and we have 3 beaches, but we don't really, I don't think, take that in or realize how special this place really is. I always say that, when people come to Corpus Christi, it's because you were invited here. It's because we are special. And that, that is what brings us together. But, we just need to realize that it's the little things that really make any city or whatever. For me, it is the arts. For me, it's if we can have more artistic expression from our local artists and our local musicians. So I'm hoping, that the arts, that Corpus Christi will be seen more through the eyes of artists and poets and philosophers. I always wanted to have the study of philosophy here. I said, wouldn't it be great? I would love to study philosophy and be here, in in my, what do you call it? The hammock, you know, that kind of style. But maybe I'm just dreaming, or maybe not. But it would be wonderful to be able to say, wow, how did y'all do this? How did you keep it whole? That would be wonderful.